front of the box, people are pretty much always going to call this one the X. I've just accepted that. So this is your first look at the unboxing experience, and spoiler, it's pretty much exactly the same as iPhone 8 was, and almost every other iPhone. Headphones, adapters, stickers, it's all in the box, but I guess it's a good thing there's no surprises here. And so you can see right here off the bat, it's a really shiny, chromy, reflective phone. This is the silver one, and you can see how shiny the sides are. The space gray one, though, is a bit more toned down. And so the only thing that was actually new during the setup of iPhone 10 is now you set up Face ID during first boot instead of the fingerprint Touch ID. But yeah, this is brand new, and it's been a couple weeks since we last saw this phone at that Apple event, so seeing it again for the second time is kind of a reminder of all the things that are new about this thing. Obviously, the biggest difference is the display up front, the 5.8-inch OLED corner-to-corner screen that fits in a footprint smaller than the iPhone 8 Plus, which has a smaller screen. Fill the entire display around the notch, which is really cool. It kind of looks like the Essential phone with a much wider notch. It gives you that immersive look. But then other apps, a couple, maybe watching a video sometimes, you can ignore that top bar and just show a rectangular aspect ratio. But I guess the goal here is definitely to be immersive. So the whole point of the display, filling up the whole front of the phone, is that you can fill it anytime possible. So developers will be on that pretty quickly. So anytime an app can go full screen, it definitely will. And then the other big question was, there's no home button, so how do you go home? Well, the answer is it's a gesture now. So to go home on the iPhone X, it's no longer a button. You swipe up from the bottom of the phone. So basically, anytime you see that bar at the bottom, that represents the home swipe, and you swipe up to go home. And to get to the multitasking panel, you swipe halfway up. So you gotta remember the difference between those two. And then there are 3 different swipe down gestures on this phone. Ready? Swipe down from the middle for notifications, swipe down from the right corner for a control center, and swipe down in the middle of the home screen for search. So basically all these operations, interacting with the phone that are now done on the screen, they're all gestures to make that possible. You can even wake the display by just touching it once. It's a lot to get used to, but I'm willing to give it a shot. It's kind of what you get yourself into when you remove all the buttons. And then the big story with this phone is that the front-facing sensors in that big tab up at the top are really advanced, and they kind of have to be, because Apple has replaced Touch ID and fingerprints with Face ID and facial recognition. So I didn't get to test this much at all yet, but I definitely plan on it because Apple's made a big deal out of it and a lot of big claims about how reliable it needs to be. 1,000,000 to 1 chance that someone else can get into it with something other than your face. It needs to be really secure because it's literally replacing Touch ID, but that's something I'll have to test for the full review. Now, the last major change on the outside is the new cameras. So yes, the vertical camera orientation is new, and just like I always say, I think it looks better here in real life than it did in the renders. And the iPhone X is rocking those 2 slightly updated 12 megapixel cameras again, and this time they're both optically stabilized. So the telephoto lens should do a bit better, have a better success rate in low light, do better with video, etc. So obviously photo and video quality is another thing that I gotta test when I get it, but one thing you'll notice is Apple is really trying to give some more customization options in their portrait modes. I think that's probably triggered by what Samsung just did with the Note 8. So now when you open the portrait mode on the iPhone, you will get these extra modes that will try to adjust the look of the lighting. So you can go from natural light to studio light to contour light to even stage light, which is really dramatic. And these will all also now work with the front-facing camera as well. So you can do portrait mode with the front-facing camera and mess with all these camera effects on your face, which is gonna take your selfie game to the next level. At least I think so. And yeah, you can actually change all this stuff after you've taken the photo as well. So that right there, the front-facing camera improvements, honestly is enough reason for some people to consider getting this phone, hilariously enough. So the front-facing camera will also work great with this new feature in iOS called Animojis, which is literally animated emojis. It's like 7 or 8 emojis with faces on them that move as you move. So in case you're ever wondering, what did the fox say? Sorry, that's a terrible joke. But yeah, now in iMessage, you can send short videos with your voice coming from an emoji. It's really good at making people make weird faces, not gonna lie. Yeah, other than that, the rest of what's new with the iPhone X is the same as what's new with iPhone 8. So spec bump.
You've got your little cutout for all the interesting things that happen on here. Okay, so let's talk about the no home button, because normally you put your finger on here and it unlocks your phone with Touch ID. That no longer happens. So how do you unlock your phone? Well, you actually stare at it, and I'm gonna get Sandy in here because it doesn't work with my face. It's called FaceID. So see, it's locked. Oh, it already found your face. Hold on, let's lock it up again. Okay, so you see how it's locked? Now if I just kind of point it towards her face, look at that, look how fast it was. And now she just has to swipe up to get to your home screen. You wanna see that one more time? All right, let's see how fast that was one more time from a different vantage point. So I'm just gonna do this and turn on the phone, and you notice when she stares at it, it unlocks, and now you have access to your phone screen. So it's that easy. They got that pretty good the first time around. Okay, so once you're in your phone, how do you navigate? So let's say you're in your app store here. You can just go there, and basically you're gonna swipe up from the bottom now to go to different apps. So that's your home button. And if you wanna go to all of your apps, you kind of do a little half swipe there, and you can toggle between them. And of course you can get out again. So because there's no home button, how do you access your control panel? Because you used to swipe up to get into that. Well, now it's over here in the corner. So you swipe down from the corner and you have access to all of the controls on your phone. And now you say, wait, whoa, hold on, Rich. Well, now because I'm swiping down there, where are my notifications? I know, it gets crazy. So now you swipe over here on the left to see your notifications, and it's telling me I have no older notifications. Two new things here. Instead of swiping, well, I guess you can swipe for your camera still, so that's good to know. But you can also force touch or 3D touch that, and you can get into your camera there. And you also have a little 3D touch for your flashlight. So you have easy access to your flashlight. Some people used to do some weird little hack on the screen back and forth to get into that. You don't have to do it anymore. Okay, so now that we're in here, let me show you something cool. So the thing a lot of people are talking about, the animojis. These are animated emojis in iMessage. So you go into iMessage here, and this is just so much fun. Apple's just showing off their sort of augmented reality, cool camera mapping of your face here. So you go into your iMessage, and you can tap here, and immediately you see this little guy. That's one of your animojis. So if I turn this way, you can see that the little monkey there is mimicking not only the movement of my mouth, but if I make funny expressions like, watch this. Oh, whoa! And you could take it a step further and record that for your friend. Are you coming to the party? And it will play that back to your friend. You can send that to them, and that's a fun thing as well. And of course, there are 12 different animojis, and you see how it says face tracking failed. That's because it's not pointing at me. So if I tap, and there it picks me up right away, and it's mapping apparently like 50 different parts of my face. So when it latches onto that, it will automatically do that. Okay, let's see some of the fun ones you have. Let's just go through them all. You've got the little monkey, you've got a robot, you've got a kitty cat, meow. You've got a dog, ruff. You have a evil alien. Oh, I guess it doesn't have to be evil. Aliens can be friendly. See?